your anger and how to control your anger since you've been in prison?
Well, I know. Yeah, I learned how to control it a little bit. Don't really know how to explain it now. You know, I just learned how to control it, I guess.
So you are Bryan Chevalier, DOC number 567622. You're classified as a second felony offender. You were sentenced originally for second-degree battery. You received a 2-year sentence. You were afforded probation. However, that was revoked. The reason for revocation was a new felony conviction, and that was aggravated battery. You received a 10-year sentence. In possession of methamphetamine, you received a 5-year sentence running consecutively. So that total DOC sentence is 15 years. You have a
Mr. Chevalier, how are you? My name is Tony Marabella. How are you today?
Doing all right, sir.
I've got a couple of questions I'd like to ask you. You're now currently in the Steve Hoyle program, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any other programs since you've been in prison?
I took anger management in Catahoula, and that's about all.
That's about it. I've looked at the facts of your case. I mean, you're both of your convictions obviously are very violent, involve anger. Tell me what you've learned about your anger and how to control your anger since you've been in prison.
Well, I know. Yeah, I learned how to control it a little bit.
Well, tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Just don't really know how to explain it now. You know, I just learned how to control it, I guess.
Let me tell you what the concern is, okay?
Yes.
Your first charge was a battery where it looks like you got in a fight. You and a couple of people beat up someone pretty badly.
Yes, sir.
And the second offense involved you and your girlfriend, and you did some horrible things to her.
Yes, sir.
Why were you so angry with her? Or why do you have so much anger pent up inside you?
I was on a lot of drugs.
When did you start using drugs?
At a very early age of 16.
And what kind of drugs were you using then?
Meth and pot.
And how long were you using them?
Every day, just about.
Okay. You know, you were charged with much more serious charges than what you were actually allowed to plead guilty to involving your girlfriend.
Yes, sir.
Now, and there's certainly much more than what someone who's just on drugs would do.
Yes, sir.
There's a saying that substance abuse is a disease. You're not responsible for your disease, but you certainly are responsible for your behavior.
Yes, sir.
So tell me why I should release you early, realizing what you have done in the past as a result of your drugs and as a result of your anger. What have you learned while you've been in prison that would convince me that you're a good risk to let out so you won't do any of these horrible things again?
Because I lost everything I had, and now I just don't know how to. I can't tell you I was going to change. You know, I'm going to do something. I can't. I just don't know how to explain all this. You know, I really think I learned my lesson, but I can sit here and tell you all kinds of things. But I've lost everything I had, and it just really tore me down.
What prompted you to do what you did to your girlfriend?
I don't know. I was really out there. That's all I can say.
Okay. What have you taken so far while you've been there?
This far, I'm just now in the MRT book, living in balance, victim awareness.
You've taken MRT. Are you still in MRT right now?
I'm just now on chapter 2, I think. And, I'm giving my testimony right now.
How has your disciplinary record been since you've been in prison?
I think I have 2 write-ups, and I think it was in 14 and 15.
And you've been in prison now for 7 years?
7 years and a month.
Have you been able to work while you've been in prison? What kind of work have you done?
I worked in the commissary for 3 years. Then I was on maintenance. I worked on air conditioners. I did electrical work and all that.
You haven't had a very good history of supervision because you were on probation when you got this offense. And
Yes, sir.
I assume from what you're telling me, a lot of it is all drug related.
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Before you got to prison, had you ever had any kind of drug treatment?
I went, but I was court ordered to go, so it was just, I went, you know.
That's very honest, and I appreciate your honesty. Have you had any work since you've been at Steve Hoyle involving anger management?
They told me that they're gonna put that in my last 3 months.
All right. Do you believe you have an anger problem?
Yes, sir, if I'm loaded.
Okay. Well, you had a domestic abuse battery arrest back in 2006. Did that involve drugs or alcohol also?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been arrested where it did not involve drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
How much education do you have?
8th grade.
Did you ever try to get your GED?
I did when I was in Catahoula. 16, they offered me to go work in this commissary, and they pay you if you work in the commissary. So I went to work to save my people some money.
I got you. Where will you live if you are released early on parole?
With my mother.
And what kind of work might you do, or do you know yet?
I was hoping to go back in the oil field, but everything in the oil field is shut down right now. And I really don't know right now, Bob. The dude I was sub working with at Catahoula, he does air conditioners and electric wires. Todd, his name. He said he'd give me a job.
Well, I appreciate your answering my questions. Thank you.
How you doing, sir? Mr. Bryan?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to the law enforcement community where you were sentenced to get their opinion about early release. And there's some strong opposition. They even let us know that during the conviction, you had to be placed on contempt of court. You was carrying on so.
Yes, ma'am.
You recall that?
Yes, ma'am. I was just about to cry, and I had them chains in my hands, and I was playing with the chains to keep from crying. And then he told me, leave the chains alone. I just let them, I dropped them, and that's how I got to the court.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't get to my document right now, but it made it sound like it was a whole lot more than that. A whole lot more than that. Okay. I just wanted to inform you that the law enforcement community is opposed to your early release. That's all I had, Madam Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
We'd like to hear from the folks there at the Steve Hoyle program.
We have had Bryan in treatment only 1 month. During that time, he has gotten no write-ups. He's got a long way to go. So he's got a little ways to go with us, but he's off to an excellent. He's been very respectful. There's been no problems. Yes, he's in a 200-man dorm, and I have to tell you, anybody that can stay in there and have impulse control is pretty good, because it's a rough place to be.
Good for you, Bryan. Ms. Newman, we'd like to hear from you.
Hey, well, he's been in there for 7 years, and he's really done good, I thought, and they work him, and I think all the guards really trusted him, and he's a good hard worker. And a lot of his problems was the drug. It influenced him a lot. Of course, he's my kid. He's a great kid. I love him, and I know he's had some problems, and I just, I'm glad he's worked on them, and he's working on them, and he is just a great person. Just to keep the drug under control. I would say something about the other people, but I can't. He's doing better, and I think he's done good the time he's been there.
Thank you. Mr. Chevalier, is there something you'd like to say to the parole panel before we vote?
No, ma'am.
I think that we're ready to vote, Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Chevalier, I want to commend you for what you're doing. I think Steve Hoyle is a tremendous program, certainly with the drugs, obviously, that's what it's there for, but also with your anger. I'm a little concerned at this point. I just believe that you need some more anger management work. I do think there's some anger issues. I think you tried to address them with me, and you were very honest, and I appreciate your honesty in the way you describe things. But if I were to vote today to let you out, I think I would be doing a disservice to you. Our job is not just to let you out, but to keep you out. We want to make sure that once you get out, you stay out. You're on the right track. Today, my vote would be to deny.
I concur with my colleague. My vote is denied because of the law enforcement opposition. and your poor supervision history. But I just want to encourage you to continue to sit on the front row, pay attention, take care of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chevalier, I do concur. I think you're in the best place possible for you right now. But my vote today is to deny your parole. Again, with the strong recommendation that you do reapply as soon as you're eligible to do so.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck.